is happening again. Woody Johnson will be leaving his role for the day-to-day of the New York Jets as he looks to return to Donald Trump's cabinet, and this has massive implications on the New York Jets, as Woody Johnson has been outright terrible running the team in the day-to-day, but now that's not something the Jets are going to have to worry about for the next 4 years, as Johnson will most likely be returning to his old job in Donald Trump's cabinet now that Trump is going to be the president once again, and we're going to break this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and y'all know the drill. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. 14% of viewers are subscribed, but let's get into this. Woody Johnson looks like he'll no longer be running the day-to-day for the New York Jets. As Connor Hughes broke it down, with Trump winning the election, if Woody Johnson returns as ambassador to the United Kingdom, he cannot maintain day-to-day control of the New York Jets. During Trump's last presidency, Woody's brother Christopher ran the team, and those that Hughes touched base with expected the same to happen again. Although it's not finalized, we'll see. Christopher Johnson is well respected by players and coaches for his authenticity. Those who he's talked to stress how much they feel he cares for them. Certainly he made some mistakes the first time around, but many feel he's learned from them and will be better prepared if given the opportunity again. Now, Matt, here's something interesting just about the whole deal with Christopher Johnson. The Jets were 17-48 with Christopher Johnson. Has nothing to do with Fetty Wap. I really wish I didn't make that joke. I kind of want to restart the video, but we're not going to do that, guys. So, as we know, Christopher Johnson, his tenure with the New York Jets wasn't good, but you can't put it all on him. The New York Jets just were terrible. The roster was bad in that time. It's not fully on him. But, Matt, obviously Woody Johnson leaving this day-to-day role. I won't lie, I'm excited that we're not going to have to deal with Woody Johnson on a day-to-day basis anymore.
I'm excited about that too, Chris, but this is exactly what the Jets needed. More change. Who needs to be a normal franchise when you can change something every single week? The Jets can never have any source of continuity because every single week something changes. I don't even know how this is possible. I would think Woody Johnson would be handling the rest of the day-to-day operations throughout this year and would then move into his role with Donald Trump when Donald Trump moves into the White House and takes over as a president of the United States. But what scares me is the fact that it feels like a cycle, because we remember how Robert Saleh was hired during Christopher Johnson's last time when he was running the New York Jets. And now this season, Saleh was fired earlier in the season because Woody Johnson didn't trust him. So right now we're going to have a head coaching vacancy, and Charles Johnson is going to be the Jets' acting day-to-day owner when it happens. So what is preventing the same thing from happening again? It's scary because people are saying that the Jets just make the same type of mistakes over and over again, and that's what leads to the type of generational failure that the Jets franchise has seen. And it is scary because it certainly looks like those people are right. The same thing is happening again, and Charles Johnson, you said the record was 17-48? Excuse me, yep. Christopher Johnson, you said the number was 17-48, Chris?
Yes.
The Fetty Wap number is 17-38, by the way, so you didn't even have to make the joke. You could have saved yourself there.
I'm out of touch.
So, the Jets, they have the only thing that could be different is when the next time Woody Johnson fires a head coach that he doesn't trust, they're probably not going to have as good of a team as Robert Saleh did. So maybe that changes, but definitely a scary thing, because we always talk about how Woody Johnson is one of the worst owners in North American sports. You don't get the longest playoff drought by being a good owner. So definitely scary to see. This is long-term not good for the Jets because it can't be. You need an owner who is locked in with the team, an owner that cares about the well-being of the team. He can have other things to do in his life. He, of course, can, have another commitment like this, but the Jets has to be an important thing, and they're clearly not important enough. If it just seems like he's managing the Jets as like a side job, a fun thing to do on the side, and that is never going to fly. That's not how these top tier NFL franchises are developed, and it certainly is not going to work for the Jets if Woody Johnson, is not fully committed to the New York Jets.
First of all, who is Charles Johnson?
I don't know, but I keep wanting to call him out.
Well, shout out to Charles Johnson over that, as there's probably 10,000 of them. But, yeah, no, I mean, obviously Woody Johnson doesn't take the Jets too seriously, or he wouldn't be leaving. again, now this will be 8 years out of 12 that Woody Johnson is just not with the New York Jets despite owning them. Look, dude, if you're going to go off and go work for your friend who happens to be the president of the United States cabinet, go ahead. Absolutely go ahead. No problem with that. No shame. Actually, it sounds like a pretty interesting job. Why don't you just sell the team at that point? Like, why care? If you don't care enough to stay and own the team because you want to go be the ambassador to the United Kingdom, which I imagine, I feel like that's a lot less work than people are going to think it is. And maybe I'm wrong. What do I know? I'm not the ambassador to the United Kingdom. I'm not the ambassador to anything. But it's like, he clearly, if he is waiting in the wings and he wants to go do this, which he does, that's the clear part. Woody Johnson wants to go be part of Trump's cabinet again. The problem is, if he wants to go do that, you're right. It's like he's treating the Jets ownership like it's a side hustle. That is never going to work. And then you just throw your brother in, who's now had 4 years off from this. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do this. Like, it just feels like if Woody Johnson's so adamant about going to work in Trump's cabinet again, why even own the team you own if you don't care that much? Like, I get it. You get to be in a presidential cabinet. That's certainly cool. I understand that. But it's like, why own a team then? Why own a sports team if you want to go be the ambassador to another country? Like, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, why Johnson would still even want to own the Jets. And now we're going to have to go with Christopher Johnson. And yeah, he was well respected and all that, and that's great. It was 4 years ago. Is there anyone on the Jets now who was on the team 4 years ago? Like, I'm genuinely asking.
I mean, Thomas Morstead, I think. No, Thomas Hennessy. That's what I meant to say. Not Thomas Morstead. Thomas Hennessy is what I meant to say.
So we have one guy who was there when Christopher Johnson was doing the day-to-day. Yeah, sure, I imagine he is respected. That's great. The Jets now don't know this guy. It's an entirely new team from what it was. It doesn't make any sense. It's just more change, as you said. No one needs this change to Christopher Johnson. And who knows, maybe he's better than his brother. It's hard to be worse at owning a sports team than Woody Johnson. So maybe Christopher's better. Maybe he's going to help this out. I just don't understand if you're going to change it. Let it be Chris Gallagher, if anyone.
Yeah, Chris, I was going to say, no matter how many times you ask the subscribers, we're never going to call you Ambassador Gallagher. So stop asking. But this certainly seems like
so quit asking.
Just another bad move by one of the worst owners in franchise. One of the worst owners in North American sports. If Woody Johnson can't commit to the Jets, we as fans, I can't see why we should be committed. If he's being paid to do this, we have to pay to see the Jets, buy jerseys. We pay with our time as well, with paying attention and following the team and rooting for the team. And it certainly doesn't seem like he's bought in. So why should the fans be? But Chris, the reason I keep bringing up the name Charles is because Aaron Rodgers was talking about Irvin Charles coming on to the team, getting a bigger role. So who knows? Maybe Irvin Charles is going to, hear that the new owner is going to be close to his name. He's going to want to play better for that.
Well, we will do a full breakdown on that in due time. But I do wonder, like the Jets are so bad historically over the last 15 years. Like, they're so bad. Historically bad. It feels like, and you're on Knicks Digest every Friday, and I'm on Knicks Digest every day, and we both know it doesn't take much for Knicks fans to be screaming at James Dolan to be sell the team. Yankee fans want Hal Steinbrenner to sell the team. Why is there no sell the team rhetoric around Woody Johnson? Or if there is, it's not as much as it should be. Well,
so,
there is
Chris,
some, but
against the Texans, their first half, there was plenty of sell the team chants. There were people with bags on their heads writing sell the team. And they were completely right to be saying that because the team needs to be sold. But the thing that I didn't like, in the second half, they came back and won the game, which was great. And fans stopped chanting sell the team. But it still is the correct chant. They still, even though the Jets beat the Texans, Woody Johnson still needs to sell the team. And hopefully, you have to imagine that him going overseas again, the chances of him selling the team are, as small as they are, they'll have to be a little bit higher than they were before Donald Trump won. But I have to imagine there is not a single Woody Johnson truther out there in terms of Jets fans. So really want to see him sell the team. Something's got to change because he's been here since 2001, and the Jets just have been one of the absolute worst teams in that span. And it's not really difficult to see why. His decisions are not well thought out. He just makes decisions that are based on what seems like the last person he talked to, and just he sees one thing, just makes a decision off that instead of seeing the whole big picture. And just poor management. And they're not even, a lot of them aren't difficult decisions. Firing the coach 5 games into the season has never worked out for a team. So why would it work out for the Jets? Doesn't make any sense. Extremely frustrating. Woody Johnson needs to sell the team. This is just another headline for Woody Johnson and another reason why he needs to get rid of the New York Jets.
I think it comes down to like the selling the team thing. I mean, look, he clearly doesn't know ball. Like, that's evidently clear. The craziest part is it feels like the Jets would be an interesting investment for someone who's rich enough to buy the Jets. I mean, look at them. Like, you could probably make more money on them if you turn them into a playoff team and, you know, move them out of East Rutherford, theoretically. Like, there's ways to make money off of the New York Jets. I find it hard to imagine that, like, Woody would struggle to find a buyer.
The problem wouldn't be finding a buyer. The problem that we have right now is the fact that he doesn't want to sell the team. And there's no one, unless he does something extremely, extremely, you know, like unforeseen at this point, like Snyder did with I think they were the Redskins at that time. Maybe they were the Washington football team at that time. But really, really, really bad stuff behind the scenes. That's the only way that Roger Goodell would force him to sell the team. So until something like that happens, which it won't, because even if it did, he could probably cover it up. So he's not going to be forced to sell the team. But right now, we need him to want to sell the team, which at this time does not look like he has any plans of.
Well, hopefully the UK can somehow convince him to do that, because Woody, get on a plane and go to the UK, please. I don't want to see him here anymore. It is what it is. I imagine, yeah, you're right. If there's a time for Woody to sell the team, it's going to be now. Guys, do you think Woody Johnson would now sell the team now that he's back? Most likely going to Donald Trump's cabinet, and in that he'll be going to the United Kingdom for the next 4 years. Let us know down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.